Good morning, you lovely lot. Happy Friday. Tim Wild's Friday Ascension update. And it's a walkie talk this morning. I am out in the woods, my local woods, getting a bit of fresh air, moving my body after last night. And I had the first of the Working with the Magic of the World Tree events last night with Lavisa Alftorn, and it was very powerful. And bringing that energy in for unification. What do we mean by unification? Seems to be a lot of almost kind of buzzwords or keywords floating around in the field at the moment. People use them. We use them all the time. I use them. Others use them. Oneness, unity, unconditional love. They're all kind of, it's almost what we would regard as target words. You know, kind of they encompass a vision of the destination, the future, what we are striving for. Is kind of the entire accumulation of the entire accumulation of what we are working together for as a team. But are we a team yet? These are the kind of the things that I do ask myself on many occasions, and I think if we are utterly honest at this particular point on our journey through the fourth dimension, that we've still got a lot of work to do on that. And I think that's only natural. I don't think it's because we are crap at what we do, or that humanity is doomed, or anything else. I think it's simply because we are a work in progress. And there's so many different moving parts, so many different aspects to this, so many false pathways, distractions, illusions, you know, things that we can kind of immerse ourselves in, get involved with, that are inevitably, well, they just wind up being lessons, don't they? And this is this is a perfectly natural and logical part of the process. And we can either reject it, or we can embrace it and we can move with it. And so oneness, unity, all of these other particular words that we are using on a regular basis. When I say they're kind of target words or morning or keywords, it's what we strive for. We know, because we have been on this pathway for long enough with a suitable quantity of information, how we're supposed to be running this show, and we get very obvious marker points and, you know, guidance from the world around us at the moment, particularly from, you know, the lessons of what we are learning from those that's still in, or still kind of immersed in the activities, the energies of the third dimension. So oneness and unity, what does it truly mean? Because obviously I use these words, other teachers use these words, you know, they were mentioned numerous times in the event last night. It's going to be a very, very different place that we're we're living in energetically by the time that we have collectively moved into the fifth dimension, and one that I'm really looking forwards to. But it doesn't mean that we are going to all be the same. Okay, there's this almost a train of thought where we're going kind of like unifies us to the point where we kind of lose our identities and become kind of, you know, just all aligned to the same process of thinking. Everything is in alignment with one another to the point where nobody ever disagrees or nobody has a counter narrative or a viewpoint. That won't be the way. We have allocated ourselves to this journey moving into the fifth dimension as aspects of soul personalities. You are a soul personality. I am a soul personality. That's what we are. We have our unique gifts, our talents, our spiritual heritage, our personalities, our own personal unique personalities. And that's what makes us human. Okay, so the humanity will never leave this pathway, even in the fifth dimension. We will always be human beings as individuals. What unifies us will be the heart-centeredness in which we live. So when you look at kind of what is being, you know, like what they're trying to set up with the kind of the one, there's paradoxes at, and I've mentioned this before, there's paradoxes in the pathway. The keepers of the third dimension, who are, you know, I've mentioned many times before, they're losing their grip pretty rapidly, which is why there's all of these multi-pronged attacks on our energy and distractions and things to bring us down. Their vision of oneness and unity is, say, one world governance with a united thought on politics, control, finances, education, health and everything. So up until a point, it mimicked what we are following. And this is where things have been quite clever, and it's been difficult to pick apart what is right and what is wrong, who's flying the pretty flags and saying all of the right things, and the kind of like the bent towards, you know, utter complete political correctness, which in actual fact is a wolf in sheep's clothing, as many of us have realised now. So oneness and unity means living in peace. The first thing that I see will be dropped or simply must go is the willingness for human beings to harm one another individually and en masse. And I'm not saying I'm not meaning this on a level of self-defense, should we perish the thought ever need it. I'm talking about borders, conflicts, the machines that make all the money in the background. That is a aspect of the third dimension that has managed to keep utter control. And if that's what is needed to ensure peace, then that's not the kind of peace we need. So in many cases, the pathway that a lot of us have kind of been allured by, it's the wrong one. Oneness, peace and unity means individualized cooperation from the heart. Means recognizing our differences, our cultures, our trains of thoughts, our loves, our dislikes, and carrying on, because that's what we do as humans. At the moment, there's and again, this is it's another move to control. It's the only way to say it. There's the tendency to be very, well, or social media will immediately jump upon anything that don't, like thoughts that aren't aligned. You know what I'm talking about. Having to be very careful with my words here at the moment, because still we live in this era at the moment where there are kind of huge corporations that ensure that only the correct words and the correct narrative is spoken. And in order to continue speaking, it has to be done so in a language that people understand, but flies up underneath the radar. So the uniqueness of the human being is beginning to shine through at the moment, what each of us hold. The keys, the codes, the gifts, the talents. That's what makes us unique. We are not all the same. We are not all ordered and in line. I saw a very interesting vision when I was writing the script for last night's event. Lavisa and I used 3 runes. And this is something that I've dipped in and out of over the years. My connection to the era of the Norse, and how many of those souls are coming back through now with the intention of very much assisting with the ascension pathway. And also the power of the runes, how powerful the ancient symbols are. And this goes right the way back to Atlantis. We're not just talking about runes, I'm talking about all of the adopted symbols of light, and how many of them have been used only for small periods of time to bring through darkness. And in many cases we are now reclaiming those, and it's not a difficult thing to do. Any symbol that is used carries the power of the intention of the user. So you can take any symbol on this planet, be it associated with something dark or something light, and when you use that symbol, it will represent the frequency and the intention with which you use it. So 3 powerful runes presented themselves to Lavisa, and together we interpreted them. The first one was Hagalaz, or Hagala, which it's a little bit like the Tower card in a tarot reading. You get it and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? I've had the Hagala rune, Hagalaz, because it represents the storm, hail, destruction, the absolute stripping down and removal of everything around you, leaving a nice clean shiny sheet. And funny enough, it's one of my favourite symbols, one of my favourite runes. So first of all, the rune that we used was Hagalaz, and the second one was Raido, which is represented by the R. It looks like an R, and the interpretation, or the modern interpretation of that, is to kind of enjoy the ride a little bit. Morning. It's to be aware of your journey, to embrace the journey, to move with the flow. And the last one, which was definitely one that has been steeped in controversy, particularly during the 1940s, was Athala, meaning the destination, the spiritual homecoming, the golden lands. So those are the 3 runes that came through, and immediately I knew that the energy meant 3D, 4D, 5D. So Hagalaz, what we're experiencing and what we're seeing at the moment, it's almost like we've been through the era of that rune, seeing all of the destruction stripping away. perhaps what's happening at the moment with the collapse of the third dimension, some of it is pretty dramatic. We're feeling it, we're seeing it, we're experiencing it, we're immersed in it. And then you get the symbol of Oraido, however you pronounce it, Oraido, meaning enjoy the ride. You know, we're on this spiritual journey. Embrace it, saddle up. You know, you've got no opportunity greater than this moment in time to be experiencing an incredible spiritual journey. So make the most of it. You know, what are you doing with your time? How are you embracing what is presented to you? Do you flow or do you push and resist? That is very much what that symbol meant. And of course, Othala represents the final destination, the spiritual utopia that we are all working so hard to connect to be in, the chosen lands, fifth dimension. So it's very interesting to see those energies coming through and how they're presenting themselves at the moment. So I suppose a little bit, if you look at how the keepers of the third dimensional matrix are feeling, we are their Hagalaz. All of a sudden, you have this sea of people waking up. And during the meditation, I saw, when we were working with the symbol of Rido, the Bifrost, but stretching for miles on the Bifrost were souls all standing in line, and their colour was grey, literally regimented, uniformed, side by side. And then all of a sudden people started waking up. They turned golden within the centre of this mass, this throng of people. And it wasn't just an individual. From one individual became multiple individuals. These individuals moved to the front of the line and started waking the others up, speaking. They started moving. And all of a sudden, there's a flow of energy. That's where we are at the moment. All of these golden lights that are igniting within the light community, millions and millions, if not billions of people now awake on this planet, obviously taking into consideration there are a considerable number of people who are still resisting the movement into the fifth dimensional consciousness, but that's just natural. That's just where we are. There's no right, there's no wrong, there is simply the flow. So I believe in the ride, I believe in the journey very much, and having the capacity to accept it, accept it and to enjoy it, even when the tests are coming thick and fast. And I've noticed also, interestingly, how much more we are in the moment. And I had this discussion with my kickboxing instructor, Karen Main, who is also now working in the spiritual community. We've got a workshop together on the 16th of March in Wimborne, which I've mentioned previously. And she was saying everybody seems to be so much more in flow, in the moment. This is all happening all around us. Have you noticed it? Have you stopped and thought, I don't do things like I used to do anymore? It's worth noting, just being aware of self, how we're functioning, how it's working. Never before, and this is a drum that I seem to be beating a lot this year, never before will we experience moments in time on the ascension pathway like we are at the moment. It's completely unique. Morning. And so treasure it. Treasure it for all its intricacies and unique experiences. And just remember, when we do move into 5D, it won't all be uniformed. We'll be living by the heart, from the heart, within the heart. Unity and oneness means being able to retain the capacity to live, to love, to be, but still be uniquely human. So I will see you all on Sunday night if you are joining me for my workshops. The Sunday Night Ascension Club. I'm beginning at 7:15 so that I do not interfere with Pam's World Meditation. So I'll see you all there. It'll be 3-3 portal. Sending you all lots of love. Bye for now.